and they see photographer, photographer, picture. Oh, picture, that's what I wanted. Boom, click. And you're going to get more clicks through if you are able to repeat what they said. And the place that you do that inside of AdWords is at the ad group level. So all of the keywords around wedding pictures go into one ad group. And then I write an ad where the headline is repeating the word pictures back to the person who's searching. It's not rocket science, it's pretty simple. But this is one of the cruxes of why people lose money with AdWords, is they have all of their keywords, you know, they might have 300 keywords and they've got one ad. Okay, that they're just assuming that the word picture is the same as photo or photographer. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You'll do much better if you slice and dice these and put these keywords into little, what are called ad groups. Yeah?
So are you saying that when you write your ad, you have a placeholder where you replace whatever word is used in the
No,
search?
and I understand.
You have many versions
you can do
of
that.
the ad, and you match it. Like, how do you make sure that the copy that the person sees matches their search?
So what I do is I look through all of the data that I dumped out of the keyword tool, and I find all of the keywords that are related to wedding pictures, okay? That I feel, and this is really touchy-feely stuff, okay? You're going through these lists and you're saying, okay, this one feels like it goes like this. But what you're thinking when you're grouping these ads together is, will one ad be able to represent this keyword or this group of keywords well? Okay, can I repeat what they have typed into Google? Can I repeat it in the ad? Okay, so some ad groups have one keyword in them. If I feel that the keyword is very unique and I want to go after it, I've got one keyword in an ad group all by itself connected to one ad. Now, things like wedding photographer, if my client is going after something as vague as wedding photographer, it doesn't even have the word Chicago in it, you know, we're going to have wedding photographer, there's going to be a list of like 20 keywords that I'm going to associate with one very general ad, okay? But what you're doing is you're saying this list of keywords I want represented by this ad.
So you have one ad for pictures and one ad for photography?
Yes, because my goal is just to, I'll use a different verb, regurgitate. I want to regurgitate exactly what they typed into Google. I want to regurgitate it in my headline of my ad. Okay, so that I have the strongest connection with them. Okay? And you do that at the ad group level. Questions? Okay, and this is, yes?
Does this work if you have a low volume? If you are not spending that much, you know, on a monthly account?
Yes.
It still works?
It still works. This is the crux of, it doesn't matter if you're spending $15 or $15,000 a month, that you need to divide up your keywords into ad groups in a, and I want to say logical, and part of it is logical, but part of it is also just feeling of this keyword, this list of keywords could be very well represented by this one ad. Okay.
This works pretty well for like retail. Like say you have a store and you want to bring people into.
Right, right. So let's say you're selling this Epson data projector and it's got the model number XYZ. Okay, if you have the Epson data projector XYZ and it's got some really long model number, you're going to group them all together so that you can, the ad will say, you know, basically you're looking for the Epson XYZ. Right, right. So depending on the market and depending on the products, usually I'll put the part numbers in with the specific name of the product all in one ad group. But there's cases where I haven't done that, where the part number is something that's searched for a lot. I'll separate it out and just say, you're looking for this part.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? This is the toughest. We've hit the pinnacle of difficultness. This is as difficult as it gets. Yes?
Does it go back to the advertising proposition where if you get a larger ad in Yellow Pages versus a small one, you're probably going to have a better response? So you're trying to get multiple ads.
No.
Okay.
And it's impossible to get multiple ads pointed to one domain on a SERP's page. No. What I'm trying to do, the word that you hear with search engine marketing, in particular with Google, is relevancy. Okay? Everything about Google is relevancy. And is my ad relevant to the person who's sitting and typing? And you cannot get more relevant than if they type in ABCD and my ad says ABCD. Okay? That's the goal, is to spit back exactly what they type into Google as closely as you can. And then your relevancy, and then we get into a whole nother dynamic of your position. Okay, and are you in position 1 in the SERP's page, position 2, 3? Are you down on the right-hand column? And your relevancy to what they typed in is very important in where you're positioned. Okay, wow. So the next few I'm just going to talk just a little bit about. In every ad group, you have the opportunity to write 2 ads. And AdWords has a built-in A/B testing system. So if you write 2 ads, Google's going to serve them both up, and it's going to tell you, this one gets clicked 10% of the time, and this one gets clicked 3% of the time. Which one are you going to keep? Okay. So always recommend that when you're writing ads, write 2. Try to hold one thing constant. Either hold your headline constant and change the body, or keep the body constant and change your headline. And test and see which one does better. Okay? Pause the one that doesn't do well and try again and do a C. Okay? It's built into the system, so always write more than one ad. The ad that you think is going to do best will come in second. Always. Always. I'm almost always wrong. Okay? So it's at this point that you've written your ad and you've told Google, here's the landing page. Okay, when people click on my ad, they're going to come to this page on my website. At that point, Google can then give you what's called a quality score. And we're going to talk about quality scores in a little bit. But at that point, Google can then tell you, this is what it's going to cost you to be on the first page. Okay, they will give you a dollar amount and say, to be on the first page, you're going to have to bid $3.85. Okay. Up until that point, you don't know. Now, you can set the bidding process with Google in 2 ways. You can automate it and let Google do the bidding, and they give you a couple of options of do you want volume or you can do manual bidding. And if you're just starting out, the easy option seems easy, and it should probably work. Unfortunately, it's better to do the manual. All right, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But this is the point where you go in and you look at the data and you say, all right, it's going to cost me $3.85 to be on page 1 for this keyword. Here's what I'm going to bid for. All right, and then you launch your campaign, and then you watch it really, really carefully. All right, the last step, analyze, and you're analyzing according to your goals. Okay. All right, so that's the basics of what you do when you're setting up AdWords. Now, we're kind of skimming across the top because we don't have a ton of time. But this is the basics. And if you do 2 things, if you learn 2 things here tonight, how to do keyword research that you don't just guess and say, they search for sunglasses. Okay? If you learn that, and you learn that you need to bust up your keywords into ad groups so that you can have lots of different ads, you're going to do a whole lot better than how you're doing now. All right, so let's move on. So we've talked about what you do. Now let's talk about what